Live here tonight with episode number 17 with Brian Rupert. Stay tuned. We'll have Brian in the studio with us live here in just a moment. Stick around. This is episode 17 of ARCS Behind the Driver. We'll be live here momentarily.
Welcome to ARCS Behind the Driver podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to ARCS Behind the Driver, episode number 17. We got Mr. Brian Rupert with us here tonight. Brian, thank you for being here. A special Saturday night episode. Glad to have you here.
Hey, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me. Glad we were able to make this work.
Yeah, it was. We had to change up because you work a night shift on Friday, so Friday night didn't work. But we don't have SNS tonight, so it kind of worked out perfectly. So Glad to
Right
have you.
on. Yeah, thank you. Happy
Well,
to be here.
for everyone that doesn't know who you are, I'll kind of give you the floor, kind of tell them who you are, where you live, kind of a little bit about you and who you are.
All right. So, 43. I live in a little town called Trenton. Sits in between Cincinnati and Dayton, Ohio. Uh, diehard Bengals fan. Been on iRacing since 2020. Uh, owned, operated OG Racing League with a group of about, I think, 5 or 6 other guys. Did that until earlier this year, then kind of gave up the reins. Love fishing, just all around outdoors.
Absolutely. Well, good to have you on the podcast. I know that we've had a lot of people on this podcast, and I always talk about how I get a little nervous because some people I don't know as well as others, and I've never really. I mean, we've talked in racing, but never been able to sit down one on one. So that's what this podcast is kind of about, and that's why I love doing it, learning more about people in ARCS and just drivers that have been racing with us. So I'm excited, and hopefully everybody else will tune in, and it's going to be a good episode. So. Yeah.
Right on.
So you talked a little bit about OG. To kind of walk us through how you started that. What got you? What made you want to start that, and who was kind of, I guess, helping you, get that thing going? Because I know that I ran with y'all for a long time, but tell us a little bit about OG for those who may not know.
So we actually started back on PlayStation 4, NASCAR Heat 4, then in the NASCAR Heat 5. We were actually a part of Ricky Bobby Racing League. If you've been around, I'm sure you might have heard of that. Those guys backed off, left, quit, whatever you want to say. So we started OG. Myself, Bill K9 Voracek, Brian Torch, Matt Newborn, Dale Lagan. Those were our main, guys that really got it going. So I was first to hop over to iRacing, and then kept talking to them guys, talking to those guys, getting on NASCAR Heat with them. Like, come on, guys, this is just not where it's at. So, we all came over, started racing in other leagues, just kind of testing the waters. Then decided to pull the trigger, man, start it up. Bring OG here to iRacing, and rest, they say, is history, I guess. I think you guys broadcasted a race for us. We somehow got hooked up with Dustin Painter.
Mm-hmm.
Then, if I'm not mistaken, maybe Rick James, Dustin broadcasted a race for us at some point.
Yeah, I remember that. That was I think Rick was in there broadcasting with me. I think Dustin kind of set that whole thing up, and that kind of leads me to my next question. Obviously, Dustin probably, kind of the what's that word? Liaison. I think I said that right. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm from Georgia. We don't know big words, but tell us a little bit about how you found ARCS. Obviously, Dustin probably a big part of that, but honestly, a lot of OG people, like you said, Torcha, Holland still comes and runs some dirt races with us every now and then. I mean, how did you find ARCS, and tell us a little bit about that story of how you found ARCS.
Well, it was through Dustin. I mean, honestly, he was racing with us. I found out, where he came from, the story behind ARCS. Meeting you, I think, along the line, same thing, learning the story. Our paths are so parallel, the leagues.
Yeah.
You guys just went a whole lot further than we did, obviously, which is a good thing. But yeah, just seeing what you guys were doing and the growth, everything. I mean, I wish I could race a lot more with you, but
yeah, we race too much, honestly. I'm like, we got 6 races a week, and it's like, Jesus Christ, I can't keep up with this. But yeah, we've been lucky. I mean, I guess one thing I wanted to talk about, a lot of people don't know, and if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to. I don't want to touch, I don't want to put you in an uncomfortable spot. But I know OG at one point had a little bit of maybe some friction Some other people kind of branched off to create their own kind of series. Walk us through a little bit of that. I mean, I kind of saw it happening from up above, but didn't, wasn't involved in exactly what happened. So, walk us through that if you can, of kind of what happened.
Oh, hindsight's 2020 on that one. I'm gonna take blame on that one myself. Honestly, I started pushing my own. Just kind of got into my own head. I think started going my own way. Really trying to just push numbers, push good racing, push. I got away from what OG was fun, just unhinged, just just getting out there with the guys and having fun. I got away from that. So when that happened, Torch, a couple of other guys decided to start their own league. There was definitely some division there because, like I said, I was in my own head at the time. I ain't gonna lie about it. It is what it is. But luckily, everything kind of worked itself out. But yeah, there was definitely a lot of division there for a short time or a long time, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I think every league kind of deals with that. I mean, ARCS has definitely had its moments where, we've had a couple teams that, I mean, we'll call them out, Bandit Racing. Team Sideswipe back, a couple years ago was the same way. I mean, you get to that point where it's like everybody seems to be upset with, a certain, members or certain teams or whatever, and it's like, well, we can't really do anything about it. They're not doing anything bad, they're winning, and they're, maybe they race like assholes sometimes, but there's not, you can't ban them just because they, race like assholes. So, every league deals with it, and ARCS is, I mean, the amount we've grown over the past 4 years is something that I would have never imagined in my wildest dreams. Honestly, it's crazy.
Right.
But
it's pretty amazing, honestly.
It really is. I mean, we have. I mean, like I said, we run Monday nights. We're Monday nights, Wednesday nights with Feemster, which Feemster, kind of, I think, found us through OG as well. Yep. I mean, I didn't even know who Feemster was until I raced with y'all, and now he's heading up his own series on Wednesday nights in ARCS. So it's
right.
It's cool to say that, I mean, and we have a few OG people on Sunday nights. Joshua Battles, races. Torch. I mean, Mike LaJoy.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Kerr found
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, so.
And he's there every Sunday night, and that series, bro, that series is wild. I don't know if I'm proud or ashamed of how competitive that damn series is. It is wild. I mean, I'll be running 23rd, and I'm like, hell yeah, great finish for the 12 car. Like,
right.
It is insane. But that's.
Why don't you keep that one car away from your rear bumper to be all right?
Yeah. Hey.
Hey.
We haven't had too many run-ins this year, I don't think.
No, not at all. No.
I don't have problems with you. I have problems with other people, but not you.
I don't run as much A square as I should, simply because I don't get to practice, man. And I don't want to. I feel like I'm either a rolling chicane out there or a caution looking for a place to happen. Because of that, it's so competitive. Everybody is so good. I'm like, God, if I didn't get to practice any, do I even want to?
Yeah. Most of the time, I show up with no practice. I join the session and I just hope for the best. And sometimes it works out. I had top 10 at Dover, I think, but most of the time, 15th to 20th is just where I'm going to finish. I can't get stage points to save my life. I mean, it's the most competitive field I've probably ever been a part of on iRacing, and I've been doing this for a long time, so that's something
I
to
agree
say.
with you.
But it's fun still. I mean, we there's definitely some bad eggs, as every league. I mean, every league has bad eggs. I mean,
Oh,
It's
absolutely.
just, you're going to deal with that. So speaking of bad eggs, I made it a point on my notes that I had on my phone to talk about Mr. Wrangler himself, Jimmy Emos. Did you invite Jimmy
Lord.
Emos to OG, or how did that happen? What's the story behind that?
Yeah, I think he did reach out to me through one of my. I recruited on Facebook all the time. Biggest mistake I ever made. But
Yeah.
I was on Facebook just posting constantly, trying to, like I said before, get numbers, get people in there,
Mhm.
But yeah, he reached out to us and invited him. And next thing I know, we're getting Gene pictures, and it just spiraled from there. Was
Yeah.
entertaining as hell.
It was very entertaining for you. Those of y'all that don't know, we had several pictures of Jimmy uh, with piss bottles, 6 or 7 piss bottles by his rig, and he messages me on Facebook to this day, asking about I have a new sponsor. Would you like to see samples of the new sponsor? And I'm like, bro, like.
Yeah,
And he is. He's a good dude overall. I mean, but still,
a little
he's
odd. Yeah,
he's something different. He's something different.
that one night on OG's Discord when he got roasted, that was just fucking hilarious.
Oh, I still remember that. That is.
Oh my god, I
And
couldn't
what
keep up with it.
and what's funny is he had a Discord at one point, and there was like, because I don't know if he creates new Discords like every other day or what, but he had like 15 Jimmy Emos accounts in this Discord. So we all joined it somehow. I don't know how that even happened, but we all got in there and we all changed our name to Jimmy Emos. I'm still in that server to this day, just in case
Oh my God.
just in case he comes back and says something. But yeah, I mean we make fun of him, but the first time I ever was introduced to Jimmy Emos, I think I was actually broadcasting a race for y'all, and he came out of pit road, exited pit road right in front of the leaders.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, and just stopped, like was running like 80 miles an hour. Leaders are doing 180, and just ruined the whole race. That is the first time I was like, oh, who is this Jimmy Emos fellow? We need to
Right?
look into him, because that's crazy.
We've had a lot of oddballs over in OG. We had, God, I can't remember the one guy's name, but he showed up, raced with us, pretty cool. All of a sudden, just started messaging me constantly. Found me on all forms of social media. I'm like, okay, this is weird. So he's racing with us, and then one day after the race, he posts a picture. He's sitting there in his rig, full helmet, like
Oh yeah,
fire suit on. I'm like, really?
the commitment, man, the commitment.
Yeah. Like, wow. But
Bro, I can't even hardly see without a helmet on. With as bad as my vision is, if I put a helmet on, y'all would be screwed. Nobody would be. I'd be running through people left and right.
right.
But some people just, take this a little more serious than others, and damn if they didn't take it serious.
Oh, you ain't kidding. Wow.
Yeah, in chat, that's another one. David Wright, I think, came from
Yeah.
OG. Yeah.
You're right.
He runs on Sundays too. So there's a lot of people in the field that, I don't even think about sometimes, but then somebody brings their name up and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, David Wright was, he was running with y'all, and he came over to ARCS and runs.
Zach Millett.
Yes, Zach Millett.
Yeah, he was running with it.
Hell, he's smoking the field.
Oh, dude.
Oh, man.
Probably the fastest, most humble guy I've ever raced with. I don't know how he does it.
Yeah.
But
Him
yeah.
and Austin Purnell are probably the two people that I've ran with that if it's a short track, you better just be prepared to finish second or third, because those two, Austin Purnell and Zach Millett, are just unbelievably fast, really everywhere, but short tracks especially. And
Yeah.
like you said, they're so humble. Like they're not out there like, I'm gonna whoop your ass. They run their race,
Right.
and at the end of it, when they do their interviews, they're like, yeah, I had a good race. Everybody ran me clean, and I had. It's like, damn, this dude is a humble, fast fucking race car driver, and that's cool. I love having people like, Austin and Zach Millett in ARCS, because that's what we all kind of stand for. We're not trying to create any drama, and those
Right.
two definitely are drama free. Just go run their race, and that's it.
Right on.
Yeah, it's cool to have both of them in the fields, and I'm sure there's some more in the field that I probably just can't remember. And then of course we were ARCS and OG kind of worked together there for a while when y'all were y'all had some stuff going on 2 or 3 times a week, and we'd have a lot of ARCS drivers come down and run in OG, and then y'all had a bunch of drivers running in ARCS, so it was a good partnership there for a long time.
Oh,
honestly,
it really was. I think at the when OG was going at its strongest, we were probably running 5 or 6 days a week ourselves.
yeah.
I mean, it was crazy. But yeah, like you said, we had a lot of cross. What am I looking for? Drivers going back and forth.
Yeah, for sure. And
Which is really cool.
yeah, that's what we have. ARCS now kind of has a OG doesn't really race quite as much as they used to. I think they have are they doing mods? I think now.
I think we're doing
something.
mods, late models, and super lates. I don't know. Tom Holland, he's running Thomas Melnick Holland, I think is his name on here.
Yeah.
He does a great job. I mean, he's running it all now. He's keeping it going.
Yeah.
I lost interest in running the league. I'm sure you know how that feels.
Yeah, I've been there. I've been there
Overwhelmed.
before.
Yeah. I ended up taking a whole summer off, almost a full year off iRacing, really, where I just show up and race once in a while.
Yeah.
But
I've been there before too. I've gotten to the point where even for a week, I left the ARC server completely. It just, it's, again, that's why I was kind of excited to talk to you, because, one owner to another owner, obviously OGs, had a lot going on. Not quite as big as ARCS, but still, it doesn't matter whether you have, 50 drivers or 500 drivers.
right.
That commitment is still pretty much the same.
Right. I think at one time I was having races broadcasted probably 3 times a week. I think I was having the Cup Series, Truck Series, and Tour mods all broadcasted.
Yeah.
Rick James was doing it there for a while. Can't say enough about that dude, man. He is good.
He is. He's very good. He's very talented.
Yeah.
Love he taught me everything that I know in broadcasting, and now I've kind of branched out a little bit on my own and helped, helping ABN on Tuesday nights with their truck series. Actually was calling they had a 24-hour race with a bunch of, it's a Platinum Endurance Championship Series. They have like 2,000 drivers in their Discord, and
Holy crap.
yeah, it was. They're doing a 24 hours of Le Mans that's actually going on right now. I was somehow picked to be in the broadcast between 4 p.m. and 7 p.m. today, so I had no clue what I was talking about. At one point, I talked about the KFC outside of one of the turns. So, yeah, huge success from me. But even the driver, I wouldn't even attempt to name some of these drivers. I couldn't even. They were like 6 names long.
Oh my gosh.
I couldn't I couldn't read what their names were. So I would just say, yeah, the 55 car is really doing great, and I'm like, I'm not saying that guy's name. I'm not.
Don't want to butcher it.
Yeah, I'm not trying to get in trouble here. So, but that was fun. Rick was kind of the one that I think the first time I helped him broadcast was back when we were still on Heat 5. I got wrecked out of a race in TNT when we were still on Xbox, and I couldn't. I mean, I was wrecked. My car was destroyed. I couldn't do anything. I mean, on Heat 5, you can kind of fix your car, but my internet wasn't the best back then either. So I was like, you know what? I'm done. And Rick was like, hey, you want to join me in the booth? And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing, but sure. And, I remember I was up there with him, and I had Discord messages from him just constantly like, hey, don't do this, or don't say you're saying too much, because I have a bad problem with that when I'm talking. And I mean, everybody does when you're talking, especially when something's live and you're trying to keep up with it. You're like, oh, and the 27's going around the 13, and because you can't compute that fast. And he was like, hey man, don't say just if you don't have anything to say, just go silent. And I'm like, that is such good advice. Like, and I still to this day try and watch. I can hear myself when I say I'm like, oh fuck, Rick's gonna send me a message. He's gonna
right.
Yeah, he's gonna tell me I'm a shithead for saying So yeah, I love Rick. He's a good dude, and he's now he's calling our Monday night series with Dustin, running the super late models. And, of course, he calls TNT. He's been doing that since day one.
Right.
I actually remember the story. I need to get Rick James on here because that would be a damn good podcast. But
yeah,
he actually started his broadcast career because he came into our lobbies, and we were racing at Talladega, and he was pretending to be a spotter. And these, everybody knows who, for those of y'all that, weren't on Xbox, or I'm not sure how PlayStation was, but Xbox had, you could be in a party of people where you could, talk to each other, but it was capped at like, I think Xbox was like 12 maybe, or 8. I don't remember.
Yeah, I think PlayStation was the same way.
Yeah, so we would have, 8 or 9 of us in there, and Rick James would be, spotting for somebody, and he'd be like, all right, the 32's on your inside, 32's coming low, 32's on your outside. And we were all like, dude, Rick, you should like call these races. And he was like, okay, yeah, sure. And then TNT started, and he was the broadcaster, and man, he has grown so much in the past 4 years. It's crazy. It's been fun to watch, honestly.
Yeah, that's cool.
All right, so I have a couple questions that I like to kind of ask everyone. Obviously, we kind of heard about how you found ARCS, which Dustin Painter was a big part in that. Another question that I kind of like to ask everybody. So who is your it's kind of a two-part question. Who's your favorite driver, or maybe drivers to race around in ARCS? And then who is your least favorite, or if you have a couple, least favorite drivers to race around in ARCS? Gotta put you on the spot.
Right? Now it's kind of tough. Favorite? Oh crap! What did I do? Okay. Painter would definitely be on that list of favorites to run around. I mean, for sure. You've always raced me clean. I know I've, had my issue, but me and Mark Dila, we had our little issue there at LA Coliseum. that kind of got a little interesting. Yeah. Then, oh my gosh, who was it a couple weeks ago? You ended up saying something to me. I'm glad I didn't catch that person. It was after the race. Me and I can't even remember who it was. My gosh. Anyway, I can't remember.
It's crazy how we forget things as drivers.
Yeah. But yeah, just, there's really nobody I can think of that I dislike racing around, honestly.
Well, that's good. I mean, that shows I mean, obviously I know you're a respectful driver, and I'm kind of the same way. Like if either one of us makes a mistake, we own up to it, pretty quickly. And, we're like, oh shit. Yeah, that was, because again, a lot of people, they see the broadcast and they go, oh damn, the 12 car just turned so-and-so. Well, be inside that race car. It's a little different,
Right.
You can't see as well as what the broadcast shows. So sometimes, a car might have a run on your outside. You don't know they're there until it's too late. And yeah, you may make contact with them, but that was, it was never your intent to screw that car up or, your own self. So it's different being in the race car versus watching it on the broadcast. It's a whole different story.
Oh, that's for sure.
I mean, I've had multiple times where I thought inside the race car, this dude just wrecked my shit. I am pissed off. I'm about to go hunt him down. And then after the race, I look at the replay and I go, oh shit, that was my fault.
Yeah, I've had so many of those instances myself where, I thought this guy just dumped me. He took me out, and I go back and look, and oh shit, I'm going high. Oops.
Yeah, I think me and you had an incident like that. I don't remember what track it was. I'd have to. Again, it's tough to remember that shit. Talladega. That's right, buddy. Yeah. Yep.
I pulled a Joey Logano move on you. I think I was about halfway down the side of your car, and I tried to bump draft you.
Yep. That's it. Talladega. That was it.
Yep. Man, God, we had that working so good on the outside, too, man. I hated that.
We did. I was so, in the moment, again, we're fake race car drivers. We get upset. I was so pissed in the moment. But then, time goes by and you're like, whatever. It doesn't matter. You don't even, sometimes you don't even remember that. Like, I didn't even remember it was at Talladega. But, yeah, that was, I just remember being like, damn it, now I got to use my fucking fast repair.
Right.
And we're 12 laps into this motherfucker, and now I got to cruise around and make sure I don't wreck again. But hey, that's racing. It's part of it.
Yeah. I messaged you right after the race because I honestly didn't know what happened. I thought you come down on me. But once I went back and watched, I was like, oof, no.
Yeah. That's a good thing about race replays. You can go back and look and go, oh shit, you know what? That one was on me, and yeah. I've been there before too. I know at Gateway, I was coming out of the, I think it was out of turn 2, and I lost it. I thought I had it saved, and poor Tristan Catania, he was up under me, and I saved it. But by saving it, I turned down and just right rear hooked Tristan, and he went straight into the wall, and I felt so bad. That is the only incident I have caused all season long.
Wow.
Yeah, I've been pretty clean, but that one was definitely on me for sure. Oh man, that one was rough. But I don't have any. I don't have stats pulled up, but I gotta ask: do you have any ARCS wins?
No, I don't. Last season A squared, I think at Atlanta, I ran second or third. I can't remember. It was either second or third. Yeah, that's as close as I've came.
Hey, look, I have not won an A squared race on iRacing at all. I won a couple when we were on Heat. But since we moved over to iRacing, I still am a big goose egg for A squared. I've won a couple TNT races. I've won a couple SNS. I've gotten some wins back on the Heat days. So my wins are, I can't win as much as some of these people in here now, like John Hagan and Zach Millett, Noah Belleville. God, I just don't know how they do it. I really don't.
Me neither.
And I can't, now that I've relocated. I used to be in Georgia. Now I'm living up here in Michigan with Kinsey. And I work Monday through Saturday usually, 10, 11-hour days. I just don't have the time to practice. I really don't.
That's me. I cannot get a grip on that next gen car.
I can't.
I mean, I don't have the time to practice, and then I get out there and I'll run around. I'm a back marker, field filler basically, but I mean, I just can't get the feel of it. Mile and a half, short tracks, I'm okay, but I don't know. The Gen 6, I could run top 10, top 15. I'm probably not in A squared. I wouldn't have been able to, but in OG, I was able to run, top 10. But yeah, this next gen, I can't get it.
Well, I've noticed for me personally, and this is just, what I've found out is the next gen, like I am just awful at the next gen. And the reason why is because you can put me in any car, the Xfinity car, the Gen 6, that now S&S runs after they made that move from trucks to Gen 6. Any car that is loose on corner entry, corner exit, I am good. When I have a loose race car, I can wheel that thing. The next gen, you can't. I mean, that thing is just pushing tight. The only time it gets loose is when it just snaps on you. And there's nothing you can do. It's just all of a sudden you're sideways. And it's like, what the hell just happened? I was tight, and then all of a sudden I'm snapping loose. Like, I can't.
Try to save it, and you end up taking out half the field. So
exactly.
It's like,
you're wheeling on it, and you're like, oh, I'm loose, and then you pull it back, and you're in front of the whole field, and then you get, an incident point, and it's like, God, this is. I mean, I cannot drive a tight race car. I can't. It's just not my driving style. I mean, coming from a dirt background, a loose race car is fast for me. Some people hate it. Some people are like, oh, this car sucks. It's too loose. And I'm like, hell yeah, this thing's fun.
Right? Yeah.
But
no, I'd much rather have a loose race car. Same way. I can't stand a pushing entry or exit. Drives me nuts.
Yeah.
So.
And that's unfortunately what the next gen is. I mean,
damn thing's got so much grip.
It does. It has so much grip that it just pushes, and you kind of have to just completely change how you drive it. And it, to me, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, luckily we're off this week, so no race this Sunday. Next week we'll be at Atlanta. That is my only chance of winning and making the playoffs. So we'll see what happens. Maybe I can get some teammates to help me win that damn thing. But
right.
All right, so no ARCS wins. You came close at Atlanta. So what's your favorite type of track? Are you? Because a lot of people love super speedways. Kind of, I think everybody, you show up to a super speedway race, you think, okay, I got a shot. But is that your favorite, or are you more of a short track kind of guy, or maybe mile and a half?
No, my only chance of getting a win is probably the super speedways. But I love short track racing. I love the short tracks. That's just where I'm at. That's what I prefer.
They are fun, for sure.
Yeah. Especially like the other cars. Like you get me in a late model, tour mod, street stock, something like that. Oh, that's a blast. I love it.
Yeah, we were actually, when we were at New Hampshire last Sunday, as I was driving the car, and it was just, I couldn't figure it out because I just can't figure that car out. But I was like, damn, I wish we would have just ran mods for this race here at New Hampshire. Like that would have been so much more fun than running these damn next gens.
Right?
Yeah, that is like that is like the Daytona of mods is at New Hampshire. That is so much fun. I remember Dustin, I think, had New Hampshire on his mod schedule one year, and Oh my God, that was so much fun. Like you just literally you could just kind of put the car wherever you wanted to, but the draft was so crazy that no one could pull away. I mean,
Right.
it was wild. Like I loved it.
Another really good mod track like that would be Worldwide Technology Gateway, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah,
Oh my God, that is a blast.
I
Same
bet.
way. Yeah.
So that's two tracks that the next gen absolutely sucks ass at. That the mods are put on a damn good show. So
Oh hell yeah.
yeah,
Fun.
next year for A Squared, New Hampshire and Gateway, we're running the modifieds. Y'all deal with it.
There you go.
That's what we're doing next year. So,
Throw a couple dirt tracks in there.
oh man, God, I hated that Bristol Dirt wasn't on the schedule this year. That was
Yeah.
look, that was another one that super speedways. I'm usually pretty good at super speedways. That's honestly probably 50% of my wins in ARCS is at super speedways. A lot of people think, they tell me, oh, you just got lucky. Bullshit. There's a little bit of skill involved in super speedway racing.
There is.
But the only other shot I had in A Squared was when they ran Bristol Dirt. I think last year I finished third at Bristol Dirt because I love dirt track racing. I mean, that's me and all my family. We grew up watching dirt track racing, being involved in it. I was competitive when it came to dirt, and then NASCAR said, "Hey, fuck you, Ryan. We're taking the Bristol Dirt race off the schedule." And I'm like, "Damn it! Now where am I gonna try and get a podium at?" Like,
Right.
it's crazy, but hey, you gotta. Well, we're not really following the NASCAR schedule this year for A Squared because a lot of people, including myself, were like, "Man, 36 races. That's wild." Like,
Yeah.
you really. I mean, NASCAR gets, maybe 2 weeks off in the 36 race season, and I think a lot of drivers were getting burnt out. I was getting burnt out. The admins were getting burnt out. Kent doing race control, I'm sure he was getting burnt out. I mean, that's just a lot of shit to look at and go over for 36 races. Like that's half a year. Like
Yeah.
that's wild.
Your guys' Sunday nights have to go until what, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning looking over that shit?
Mm-hmm.
I bet.
It depends.
Not big.
It depends. I mean, luckily, like New Hampshire was pretty good. I had a pretty strong pre-race speech, which I've given a couple times. I'm sure you've given those speeches in your past before as well, where it's like, hey, you know what? If y'all want to drive like dumbasses, don't do it on my track. Don't do it on my series. Go do it somewhere else. And there were definitely some tough speeches given before the New Hampshire race, and it seemed to work. We had a few cautions, but nothing like Gateway. Gateway, God, I remember. I think it was like one. It might have been 1:15 before I finally went to bed after Gateway because.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we had. I mean, I think we had like 16 cautions or 17 like it was bad. It was really bad. So, yeah, I mean, I signed up for it, I guess. I don't know. I didn't really sign up for as big as this thing has turned into. I mean, we pretty much have 40 cars on track every Sunday night, so it's kind of wild, but it's good for viewership, I guess.
Oh, absolutely. Puts on a show, that's for sure.
Yeah, it puts on a show for sure. But yeah, we had actually Steven Oberstadt had one of his drivers kind of back out. This has been recent. Pacey Wygant kind of got a little bit of a penalty after last week. He kind of intentionally wrecked a person under green, so that gave him a one race suspension, and then after they kind of talked, I guess, he's no longer racing for the rest of the year. So Steven Oberstadt is looking for a cup driver. If you're listening and you want to run on Sunday nights, go talk to Steven Oberstadt. He's got a Chevrolet opening there for anybody that might want to be involved. If you don't, then I don't blame you.
No, it's a lot of fun, very competitive.
Yeah, very, very competitive. If you think you're going to come in and finish top 10, you better have some damn speed, because it is tough to even finish in the top 20. And that's coming from somebody that's been doing this I've been iRacing for about 3 years, but sim racing, if you want to call NASCAR sim racing.
Right.
I don't think you can really count that, but so I'm closing in on 600 starts in ARCS, and that,
wow,
that is a sad stat for I don't know whether to be proud of that or to be ashamed. I really don't. But we've done a good job of keeping ARCS going. That's one of the hardest things to do. And you've kind of, again, you've seen that because you've been an owner before. Talk a little bit about how hard it really is to keep a series going and to keep interest in that series. That's the hard part there for me anyway.
It is. It's very hard keeping interest. Keeping people showing up, and then you've got to have that where you have like a race like Worldwide you were talking about, where you got 16 cautions and you got guys mad, and you got, there's such, I don't know what word I'm looking for. It's hard to manage that, I guess.
It's a fine line.
There you go. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very fine line there to, you try to take care of one side, then the other side gets pissed. Like you said, it's real hard to keep a series going, keep the interest, keep people coming back. Then if you get a bad race, then you got a bunch of people pissed off, and I don't want to do high pacing.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
It's the high pacing 500. It's like, we all know y'all have created a lot of cautions, and it's y'all's own damn fault. So shut the fuck up.
Right.
But drivers are the first ones to complain, but they're the first ones to cause the problems.
Yep. You guys do a good job keeping communications clear.
Yeah.
The team chats probably help a lot. We never did that with OG. We always just did one big chat. Everybody was in it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I think that probably helps y'all. And then you do a really good job keeping the just race chat on iRacing clear. So
yeah, TNT, Monday nights with ARCS Extreme with Dustin Painter, all of them are in a chat together, but there's only about 8 or 9 people that show up to race. So, and it's people that have been around with ARCS for a long time, so we all kind of understand what Monday night's about. It's about having fun. We have our series where we go out, and of course we're trying to be competitive. That's just our nature, but we're also just having fun. But then you show up to, TNT, where they are all in the same chat. They've done that since day one. They continue to do that. I love that because for TNT, because we don't have a lot of cautions in TNT, it usually stays green flag. There's not a lot of chatter in Discord, even though all 18 of us are in there at the same time. It's kind of cool. It's fun. It's different. But then you get to Saturday and Sunday with SNS and A Squared with the team chats. It kind of steps up that level of like, okay, this feels serious now. Like,
yeah,
I'm going into my own team chat. I can't hear the rest of the drivers. But me personally, I've always enjoyed being in a Discord with everyone, because me personally, I feel like somebody's not going to make a dumbass move if they know that person is in the Discord chat with them and can just literally instantly be like, what the fuck were you doing? Like,
Right.
I mean, that's just so I do feel like that's a benefit to, having everyone in the same chat. But then again, you have people that come in that may be new and maybe they're going to just be talking too much and people are like, shut the fuck up, or, then you deal with people that have background noise, or you can hear their damn spotter through their mic. And so it's like, again, the fine line that we talk about.
That's it.
You have everybody in the same chat. Some people may be pissed. You put people in team chats. Now people are pissed because they can't talk to each other. And it's like, damn it, y'all are never happy. Like,
that's it.
You can't make everyone happy. And I've learned that now, and I've just embraced it. Like, some people are going to not like me for how I run ARCS, and I don't give a shit. Like, it's
your league, man. You put a lot of work, blood, sweat, tears behind it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. I get it.
Yeah, 600 starts. I think I'll hit 600 June. I think I did the math in my head. June 29th, I think, at the SNS season finale at Auto Club, I'll hit 600 starts.
Wow.
Yeah, Feemster's supposed to make me a special paint scheme for that. So that'll be kind of cool. I mean, I feel like I'm Joey Logano. Well, actually, I feel like I'm Kyle Petty. Like 600 starts, only about a handful of wins. So I'm Kyle Petty in like 1995. But so I know you hadn't really been around a whole lot the past few weeks. From what I can remember anyway, on Sunday nights, is that just kind of a scheduling thing, or what's the reasoning behind that, I guess?
It is. A lot of it's scheduling. I've worked a couple Sunday nights here recently, picked up some extra. Last 2 weeks is because my third monitor over here is broke. My son plays VR here in this room.
Ah, nice.
And he didn't have his wristband on. And controller went flying.
Man.
Busted my third monitor.
Typical kids. Just over there trying to play, trying to strike a 300 in Wii bowling and just ruins your whole setup. I mean.
Right. But yeah, that was my reasoning for missing it last. But like I say, if I just feel weird about it sometimes if I don't get enough practice, if I don't, I jump in there and it's like, oh gosh,
I feel the same way, and I'm still just out there riding around in the back. I mean, that's somebody's got to run in the back. Might as well be me and you.
There you go.
I mean, somebody's got to finish 30th, and if I have to take that honor, hey, I'll take it with a grain of salt. All right, so let's talk a little bit about your NASCAR, real NASCAR fandom, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so who's your favorite driver in NASCAR, and why is he your favorite driver?
My favorite driver is Ross Chastain. He's a throwback, man. He ain't there to make friends. He ain't scared to move you out of the way. I like that. I'm an old school NASCAR fan. My NASCAR fandom all comes from my dad. He's been watching since the 70s. Die-hard Earnhardt fan. Yep. I mean, I remember having a plastic, number 3 Wrangler car when I was a kid. It's what it was, And that's just what I like, man, that throwback. I should have been a Kyle Busch fan. He's that way, but he never caught on with me. But
I feel like and this is just an assumption, because I've talked to, obviously, this is the 17th episode here of ARCS Behind the Driver, And I feel like every person I talk to, it's always like their dad got them into it. And that's the same way for me. My dad got me into NASCAR. And I feel like every person has two answers to who their dad's favorite driver was. And it's either Dale Earnhardt or Rusty Wallace. Because my dad was a huge Rusty Wallace fan. My dad he drank Miller Genuine Draft, and the only reason he drank it is because Rusty Wallace, that was his sponsor. That number 2, that black number 2 with the yellow number and the red outline, man, that thing was hot out there. And my dad, that's the only reason he drank it. I mean, that was like literally. And I feel like everybody has kind of answered the same way. It's like, yeah, my dad got me into it, and he was a huge, like I think Dale Markowski even said on his episode that his dad was a huge Dale Earnhardt fan. My dad was a huge Rusty Wallace fan, and I've had several other people that was like, yeah, my dad loved, Rusty Wallace. Maybe Mark Martin. Mark Martin was another one that a lot of people liked, but Rusty and Dale, I feel like they just had that rivalry between them where like 50% loved Dale and hated Rusty, and the other 50% loved Rusty and hated Dale.
Yeah. Through the 90s, I feel like that's what you had until Jeff Gordon rolled in. And
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, through the 80s and 90s, that's really what you had.
Yeah. And then I remember my dad, when Jimmy Johnson started winning and just started dominating, my dad was like, who the hell is this kid and why is he so good? Like,
I'm going to be totally honest with you. My dad called that in 2001. I think that was Jimmy's first year.
Mm-hmm.
He called it. He said, this is going to be the next – he's going to be it.
Yeah.
This is going to be the next big thing. He's done that a couple different times with drivers. It's like,
yeah,
I don't know how he does it, but it's like,
and
okay.
Damn if Jimmy wasn't the one. And I tell you what, we used to shop at Lowe's when I was a kid, and my dad got pretty damn close to stop. He just was like, I ain't going to Lowe's no more because this motherfucker is winning too much, and I don't like him. He drives a damn Chevrolet. And we almost left. The only reason we didn't is because Tony Stewart was sponsored by Home Depot, and he was in a Pontiac. So I guess my dad was very confused about what to do. If there was a third home improvement store, he probably would have went with them. But
right.
Yeah, I mean, you either were with Jimmy Johnson or you were with Tony Stewart. And at the time, Tony Stewart was wild back there in the early 2000s when he was sponsored by them.
Oh, yeah. His interviews, oh, my God, they're the best.
Man, they are. I mean, I bust his ass. I mean, that is one of the best interviews, other than when he told, I think it was Matt Burns, maybe, he was like, I think we should just go halfway and half the field just turn around and go backwards. I think that would be more fun than what we're doing now.
Right?
It's like, well, damn, Tony.
In Indy. We're here for racing, not passing. If we want to pass, we'll go out there on 465 and run.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Like, he is wild, but that's what I love about Tony. I mean.
Oh, 100%. Yep.
Kevin Harvick used to be the same way before he had a kid. When he had a kid, when Keelan was born, Kevin Harvick kind of shifted. Like, he wasn't the same as he was like in the early 2000s, even going into the 2010s. Like, Kevin Harvick was he was a son of a bitch out there sometimes.
Agree.
But now he's got 2 kids. He's got Keelan, he's got Piper. Now he's got to be mature. He's a broadcaster. I'm learning that too. That's why I want to be a broadcaster. I'm trying to mature, and not be as mad as before when I became a broadcaster.
Right.
It's not working 100% yet for me, but I'm making progress, I guess. So we talked about your NASCAR. So what's your this is another question I kind of ask everybody. What's your favorite, and we'll close this thing out here pretty soon, but what's your favorite NASCAR finish that you've seen in your life? And then kind of a second part, what's your favorite NASCAR finish that maybe you've actually been there and seen it in person?
My favorite NASCAR finish, I was sitting there watching it with my dad. I got to go back to 98, the 500.
Yeah, that's a special moment. Yeah.
That's it for me. Me and my dad were sitting there watching 98. Me and my dad were sitting there together watching 2001. I mean, totally different sides of the spectrum there. But favorite one I've been to, that's tough. I am actually going to have to go back to a dirt race down at Florence Speedway.
Oh, hell yeah.
Hell yeah, man. I don't even know who the drivers were at the time. Me and my dad were just down there watching the weekend dirt series. These two guys come off turn 4, the car on the outside ended up like on the wall, basically on the other guy's car, kind of, to the start-finish line. Just unbelievable finish. But as far as live, that's probably going to be it for me.
Well, it's not a NASCAR finish, but hey, dirt racing has some of the best finishes of all time. Like, as far as races go, I've been to Bristol, I've been to Michigan, Indianapolis. You don't really get, those fantastic finishes at those places. Yeah.
Bristol you can, but
look, I've been to Winder Bear Speedway down there in Winder, Georgia, and I've watched some damn good finishes. And then right after, you'll see two people beat the shit out of each other. Battling. Oh, yeah. They're battling for 5th place at Winder Bear Speedway. One of them got $35, the other one got $25. And they beating they beat the snot out of each other. One of them had to go to the damn hospital, and it's like, damn it, man! I wish NASCAR would let these drivers do this. That'd be they do to an extent. I mean, they've kind of eased up a little bit. I mean, there's been a few punches thrown, but man, Winder Bear Speedway is a different animal. They'll beat you with a baseball bat, and then pretend like they didn't even do anything. I mean, that's true dirt track racing right there.
Yeah, it is. No shit. It's the truth.
All right, buddy. Well, I don't want to keep you too long. We had a good episode. We'll have to have you back on at some point. But I'll kind of throw it to you. Do you have any questions for me? Or anything you want to say, and then I'll close us out, and we'll wrap this thing up. We've been an hour, man. I tell you, it's always fun. I always get nervous because, again, I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna be 10 minutes in. I'm gonna be like, well, that's all I got.
Right.
10-minute podcast.
I was worried that's how it was going to be. I'm like, man, I'm pretty boring. I don't know what we're going to come up with. Yeah, like you said, here we are an hour in. It's like, wow. All right, cool. Man, I want to thank you for what you're doing. What you've done with ARCS is just unbelievable. It really is. I don't know. I'm here's a message for everybody. Don't take a year off iRacing and think you're going to be able to come back and actually be competitive. Don't happen. It's not going to happen. Forget it.
Especially with all these young kids, man. I mean, we talked about that. I've talked about that a couple times in several of my past episodes. I mean, these young kids. How old are you, if you don't mind me asking?
I'm 43.
Okay, so you're older than me. I'm 32, so you're 11 years older than me. So you're even a little bit different generation than I am. But even me growing up, at 32, I mean, me and Cody Pennell, which most everybody knows Cody. He just for those of y'all that don't know, and Rupert, you may not know this, but he just bought a brand new Moza direct drive wheel, and he got that itch, man, and he is coming back full speed. So y'all better watch out for Cody Pinnell, because that motherfucker about to whoop y'all's ass. Because hey, he was fast as hell on a he didn't have a Logitech. I think it was a PS5 wheel, but he was still fast. Now he's got a direct drive. But anyway, me and him growing up, you know, we played NASCAR Thunder 2003. I will never forget. We played NASCAR Dirt to Daytona. Me and Cody and his dad Tracy, who's run with us a couple times in ARCS. There was no online feature. There was, you know, the only way you played with somebody else is that person came to your house and, you know, played on the console with you. There was no online, you know, and then obviously, you know, me being 32, by the time I graduated high school, you know, I'm getting into the workforce. I didn't really play a whole lot of, you know, NASCAR racing other than just, you know, just to do career mode or whatever here and there. But man, these kids now, I mean, they're 7-8 years old, and they're getting on these games that have full online access that they can race people around the world. And yeah. I still to this day think that helps them so much, because, you know, you race an AI, you know, on NASCAR Thunder 2003, it's no comparison to being online with real people throughout not only your state, but the whole country, even the whole world. Yeah. And these kids at 8-9 years old are online racing, watching, you know, oh, this guy's really fast. He's doing this. Let me do that. And by the time they're 14, 15 years old, they are fast as shit. And I'm just watching them pull away from me into the sunset. I mean,
right.
It's something that, I mean, kids are going to be kids. I mean, they're better at things than we are. They have more technology. They have more experiences. And me and you are just back there in the back just watching them.
Well, little inside baseball here, I guess you could say. This webcam I'm using right now, my 17-year-old daughter had to come in and set it up for me right before we got on here. So,
there you go. Exactly. We don't even know how to set up our cameras. That's how old we are. So, you know,
that's me.
Y'all are expecting us to finish in the top 10 in these virtual races. We can't even turn our computers on. All right. I
work nights, work 60 hours a week. I drive a truck for a living. I mean, I ain't got nothing for these young kids. Mm-mm. They're on there practicing all hour, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's another thing. I mean, they go to school, you know. I mean, I don't even know what school times are now. They've changed them so much. But I mean, they go to school at 8 a.m. They get home, you know, they leave school at 3:30. I mean, they're at home by 4. From 4 o'clock to 12 at midnight, all they have to do is just, I mean, get on and race. And they have these new computers. They have, you know, Xboxes. They have PS5s, because I'm not a parent, luckily, not yet, that I know of. But, you know, all of these parents are, and of course, if I was a parent, I would want my kid to have the nicest things as well. And so all these parents, you know, are making sure that their kids have the nicest things, and that's a brand new PC or a brand new Xbox or, you know, a brand new PS5, and they're out there just getting better and better and better. And then they're like, hey, so-and-so said I need a wheel. Dad, can you buy me a wheel? And it's like, shit. Yeah, I guess I'll get you a wheel. And then next thing you know, they're out there whooping my ass as a 32-year-old, you know.
Right.
I'm just pretending like I know what I'm doing, but It's crazy. But anyway, again, appreciate you, buddy, coming on.
Hey.
I had a blast, man. We're getting close to the end of our schedule, or we might have some repeat people on the podcast. We're going to probably do a couple multi-guest people as well, so maybe we can get you and Painter on at the same time.
That would be a blast.
Yeah.
Maybe Kerr.
Kurt. Yeah, get Kerr on here.
That would be a good one. That'd be a good time.
Definitely going to branch out a little bit after. I wanted everybody to have an opportunity to, at least have a 1v1 with me, just because I enjoy it. I enjoy talking to people, just me and the other person. They don't have to, fight about when they're going to talk because so-and-so's talking and that other person's talking. And, it's just me and you, or me and the other person. So it means a lot to me, and appreciate you being on. I know it was we had to kind of change the schedule, but man, it was worth it. It was so much fun.
Yeah, man. Thanks for changing that schedule around for me. I mean, just have me on. I appreciate that. But
absolutely,
yeah, man. I've had a great time.
Well, we will hopefully maybe see you at Atlanta, as long as your kids don't throw another Wii remote at one of your monitors. But
I will be at Atlanta.
I will let you exit out of the Discord here, and again, thank you so much. I had a blast, man, and hopefully we'll get to talk again soon.
Absolutely. Talking about Atlanta, I'm really looking forward to that in September too.
Oh yeah, that's gonna be fun. The old ARCS
sure.
corporate retreat. We're gonna make it happen.
Yep.
All right, buddy. Had fun talking with you, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right.
See you, bud. All right, that was Brian Rupert with episode number 17 of ARCS Behind the Driver. We're going to close this thing out here on Saturday night. No SNS tonight, obviously. No A Squared tomorrow. So y'all enjoy your Mother's Day with all of your mothers, grandmothers, maybe even great-grandmothers if you're lucky enough. Enjoy that and spend time with your family. I'll be back on the mic. Might do a podcast tomorrow of a ARCS flight cast. It just kind of depends on what I have going on tomorrow. I know I got some Mother's Day activities to do as well. So we'll see what happens. But if we don't do it, we'll do another one next week. We might have an Unfiltered Dirty Air podcast right after this podcast. I'm not sure about that. We'll have to confer with Kevin Feemster, and I think Kent might try and join us, but that'll do it for here. Let me try that again. That will do it for us here tonight at ARCS Behind the Driver, episode number 17 with Mr. Brian Rupert. Great podcast there, and we'll try and have him on at another time. But until I talk to y'all again, make sure you stay on that loud pedal.